Hey guys, so today I'm going to be updating the mini narwhal tutorial. So this is my mini narwhal design. You've probably seen it. I have a tutorial for it on my, oh, it went blurry. I have a tutorial for it on my channel. I'm trying to focus it. There we go. But it has a lot of complaints that I either talk too fast or I don't explain well. And I did go back and watch the tutorial, and after looking at it, I don't know what happened that day, but I was talking really fast. So I'm gonna redo it just because that tutorial has like my most views and also my most complaints, but I can see where you guys were complaining. I was going pretty fast and I did talk pretty fast, but I feel like I talk slower now, or I at least remember to talk slower. But yeah, this is one of my favorite designs I've definitely done. It's simple, but it's cute and it's so small and takes practically not that many bands. Well, so in total it takes 108 bands, but it's 67 of the narwhal color, I guess, and then 41 white, so it's not too bad, like, when you split it up. And you're gonna need some beads. I already have my beads on my bands. If you don't have beads, of course, you could wrap a band 4 times around your hook and then pull it onto a band, and it'll work the same as a bead would. Yeah, so just get your colors. What else do I need? Oh yeah, of course you're gonna need a hook. I always forget to say this. I'm gonna be using a double-ended hook, but that's just because I really like this hook, but you can use whatever hook you have. And you're going to need a C-clip to mark your rows, and I always forget to say this, but I'm actually remembering. You're going to want something to stuff them with. I'm going to probably use cotton balls today. Okay, so I think that's it. As for how hard this design is, because a lot of people have been kind of asking me to say, I don't think it's too hard. I think it's really simple. The hardest part is I get a lot of people who have trouble when it's tight, because the first row we only do 4 stitches, so it's pretty tight, but after that row it gets pretty easy, so I don't think it's a hard design. And also there's like no attaching. Literally all we attach at the end is the horn and then the eyes. So, okay, now we're gonna get started. So, you're gonna want to get your narwhal color first. So I'm using this bluey color, blue purpley color. Yeah. And you're gonna wrap a band 3 times around your hook. Let me make sure it's focused really quick. There we go. So, 2. Wait, that's 3. Oh, I don't know why I forgot to count. So that's 3 times. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get another band. You're going to pull it through everything on your hook. You're going to put both ends back on your hook, and then you're going to push the back one over the front one. Like that. And that's a stitch. And we're going to do that same thing again. So we're going to go back into the cat band. Pull a band through just the cat band this time. Oops. Put both ends back on your hook. Push the back one over the front one. And then push that loop from last time over as well. Like that. Then we go through the cat band again. So we're going to want to keep doing this until we have 4 stitches in the cat band. So I have to do 2 more. So once again, we just pull a band through just the cat band. Both ends back on. Back one over the front one. And then the other loop. Do that one more time. So we have 4 total. Like that. And then you're going to want to make sure you have 4 bands before you do the next step. So, well, I guess you made 4 stitches. That's what I mean. So we'll just count the loops we have. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one might look like a loop, but it's actually not. And you can tell it's like the folded over bit. So it should just be 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you've made sure you have 4 loops, what you're going to do is instead of going into the cat band, you're going to go into the first loop. And you're going to make a stitch. And it's the exact same way you do with the cat band, except for you just pull it through the first 2 loops that we pick up. And then you'll put a C-clip on this this band. Okay, so this row will be increasing everything, and if you don't know what it increases, I'll show you in a second. I'm just going to pick up some bands really quick. Basically, what it increases is, it's really, see, this is what I'm saying, this is probably the hardest part of the design because it is very tight, but, yeah. But if you just flatten it out, it'll make it easier to see. Don't stretch it out. I've seen a lot of newer loomers stretching their loom things and it kills me. So just kind of flatten it and you'll be fine. Okay, but anyways, we'll be increasing. I don't know why my hook feels twisted. So what it increases is basically, instead of just putting one stitch in each of these loops, we're going to go back in and put another one, so that way there's 2 stitches in each loop, and that's an increase. So this one already had 1 in it, so I'm just going to go back in and put 1 more. Oops. And that would be an increase. So we're just going to keep doing this all the way around, so we just go into the next loop, and put 1, and then another one, 2 stitches in that loop, and that's an increase. Like that. So we're just putting 2 stitches in each loop until we get to the C-clip. These bands are getting all twisted. I was hoping they wouldn't, but they are. Okay. And then once we get to the C-clip, all we're going to do is we're going to make a stitch in the band that has the C-clip in it, and then we'll move the C-clip up. Like that. And after this last row, we should have 8 bands, so if we count, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So for this next row, we'll be increasing every other loop, and basically it's the same thing as last time, except for in one loop you just do 1 stitch, and then the next one you do 2. And I'm picking up bands again, and I'm dropping bands. Oh my god, where'd he go? Okay. Sorry, I was just... Okay, so since we're increasing every other loop, this one will just have 1 in it, and then the next one will have 2. And this one just has 1. And then the next one has 2. And we just keep doing this until we get back to the C-clip. So I just did 2, so the next one's 1. 1 stitch. 2. I thought I heard someone knocking on my door, but I don't think. I don't know why anyone would. Okay, I keep losing track if I'm doing 1 or 2. And you can kind of tell if you do get lost like I do. If you look at it, because this one has, you can see it has 2 in it, and that one has 1. I don't know if that's helpful. That's 1, so this last one has 2. I don't know why these bands are getting so twisted. I feel like they're a little sticky. It's okay. And then once we get to the band with the C-clip, once again, we'll just make a stitch and move it up. Like that. So for this next row, we're going to be doing 1 row normal, which basically means we're not increasing or decreasing, or at least that's how I like to phrase it. We're just putting 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. I'm just picking up some bands really quickly. Okay. So we just go into each stitch, and, well, not each stitch, each loop, and we just put 1 stitch until we get back to the C-clip. I don't know why I feel like it's blurry, but it's not. So we just put 1 stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. My god, these bands, they're not cooperating. One of my friends just texted me. I think it's funny because, like, none of my friends will text me back. And then the second I start filming, they all text me back. Yeah, it's just taking me a second to go around because these bands are kind of sticky. But we're just putting 1 stitch in every loop. Oh, did I count after last row? I did not. Shoot. Okay, we'll count after this row. It should be the same as last row. Did I count? No, I didn't. Oh, gosh, I hate when I do this. I don't think it's a big deal, though. But oops. we'll just count after this row. So after the last row, you should have had 12 if you're worried about that. The pattern's always in the description if I forget to say it. But let me count just to make sure everyone has the same amount of loops. So after that last row, well, last 2 rows, you should still have 12. I forgot to count last time, so I'll count this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Wait, did I count last time? I think I did. I don't know why for a second I thought I didn't. But after this, we'll be adding, this is actually the last row in this color, we'll be adding the fins and the tail. So it's pretty simple. I think I know how to do this. Okay, I was just double checking on another narwhal, all the narwhals I showed at the start. Okay, so we're going to start the tail right away. And how we start the tail is you're going to pull a band through the next loop. You're going to put both ends back on, but you're not going to make a stitch, so you're just going to chain one on. And then you're going to pull another band through this, and then you'll make a stitch. Like that. And we're going to want to put 2 more stitches in this little loop we chained on. So it's 1, 2. So you should have 3 loops total, and you can kind of see. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And once you have 3, I'm just making sure of something. Okay. Once you have 3, you're going to go into the next loop. And you're going to chain 1 on. Okay, so after we just chained 1 on, we're going to make a stitch just like last time. Oh wait, when you make this stitch, you're going to pull through everything on your hook and then put the back one over the front one. And then we're going to put 2 more stitches in this one, and these will just pull through just the band we chained on, push the back one over the front one, and then the loop from last time over. We're going to do that one more time. So these are just stitches like normal. And then we're going to go into the next loop, and once again we'll make a stitch, but this time we'll pull through everything on our hook and then put the back one over the front one. And there's his tail. And now we're going to do the fin, and the fin is very similar to the tail. So we're going to chain 1 on. We're going to make a stitch like that. Is that correct? Sorry, I'm just trying to remember if we pull. No, yeah, we just do that. And then we'll make 2 more stitches in this. So that way there's 3 total. And then when we go down into the next one, we're going to pull a band. So after you've done 3 stitches in the chain bit, you're going to pull a band through the next loop, pull it through everything on your hook, and then put the back one over the front one like that. Like that. Now we're going to do a couple just normal stitches in the front. In the pattern I wrote 6, but I don't know if it is 6. Let me just go count something real quick. Okay, I was just making sure where we put the other fin. So we're going to do 4 more stitches, just normal. So we pull it through just the loops and then put the back one over the front one and that other loop over, and we're going to do this 3 more times. So we're just going to make 4 stitches like normal in the front. So this is 2, 3, and then 4. And then we are going to put, I'm trying to make sure it's across. Yeah, we're going to put the next fin here. So we're going to chain a band on, just like we've been for all the fins. We're going to pull a band through the chain, make a stitch, and then we'll make 2 more stitches. And then we'll go down into the next loop after we've done the 3 stitches, pull a band through everything on our hook, push the back one over the front one. Okay, so after we finish the fin and we finish doing the stitch, we're gonna just move the C-clip up because the C-clip's actually the next band. And I'll just really quickly recap what we did. I don't know why I pulled my hook out. So basically what we did this row is the first thing we did is we made the tail, and how we made the tail is you just chain one on, do 3 loops, and then you chain one on next to it, do 3 loops, make a stitch, add the fin, and the fin's made the same as the tail, so you chain one on, add 3 loops, 4 stitches in the front, add the other fin, and then we basically end up back here. So after that row, if you count how many loops you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that 11? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you should have about 20 loops. Should look something like this at this point. But now we are going to switch over to our white, and we're going to do what I call a half row. So we're only going to be grabbing half of the loop, in the front anyways. And underneath we try to, but it's kind of hard to see. So, how I do this is we're going to grab, first thing we're going to do, because the next loop is the tail loop, is you're going to grab half of this tail loop, and you're going to want to grab the inner half, and you just make a stitch on just that one part of the band. Oh my gosh, I don't know why this is not cooperating. And then we're going to do the same thing in the loop next to it, so you're going to want to make a stitch in the front band of the loop that has the tail chained onto it. And then this one right here would be where we would make the next half stitch. So you're not going to want to go into that one. This one, because we did the weird thing where you pull it through everything instead of just pulling it through the loop. It does look a little weird, but you're going to grab this part of the loop and just the inside half again and make a stitch on that. And then of course the next loop's the fin, so we go and grab just the inner part of that loop. I'm hoping you can see what I'm doing because this is really hard to explain and it's so tiny. And then of course this wouldn't be the next loop. This one's the next loop, and you can tell that this is the band that's folded over, so you're going to want to grab the inner side, I guess, of the loop and make a stitch on that. And here's where it gets easy for a couple stitches because we're on the front, so all we do is, oops, it's not being very helpful. So all we do is make stitches across the front, just grabbing the inner or first loop, first part of the loop, I guess, the front part I usually say, until we get to, you're going to want to do this one as well. And then once you get to where it changes into the fin, instead of grabbing any of these top ones, you'll grab the loop. The one that is chained onto, you're going to want to go into the bottom one, or the bottom part, and then make a stitch on that. And then this one would be the next one, so you just grab the front half of that. It's really hard to show you what I'm doing, but you basically grab the front half of every band around. And then once we get to the C-clip, instead of doing like a half stitch, you're going to go through that full loop and you'll just make a stitch and move the C-clip up. Like that. So after that last row, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, that does not look good. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You should have 12 loops again. And it should also be looking something like this. So those 2 rows are by far the hardest in this whole thing. The start and then these 2 rows, because you had the tail and then the whole half row thing. But what I was trying to explain that I did a horrible job of is when you go to do the half stitch in these, you don't go into where, like, you go under where it's chained on, and I couldn't think of the words for it. So I hope you can see what I'm doing. I hope that made sense. Yeah. I guess if you got confused in this one, you can go watch my other tutorial and see if I explained it better. But now we're just going to do a row around this, so we're going to go through the full loop again. And we're just going to be putting one stitch in every loop until we get back to the C-clip. So this is a fairly simple row. Yeah, at least if I explained this part bad, maybe I explained it better in the other one, so I'll definitely put the link to my original narwhal video in the description, but if I forget, it's on my channel, so you can check it out if you're confused. But yeah, I really needed to update this one. I really felt bad for everyone in the comments. They're so ragey, and it's, I don't know. I love, like, the two extremes of my comments, because the extreme's always like, oh my god, you're so amazing, and like, I love this design, or something along the lines of like, basically good stuff, I guess. And then there's like the people who can't get it and are raging in my comments, and I don't know, I just think it's funny that there's like two extremes. But yeah, and once you get back to the C-clip, all you're gonna do is make a stitch and move it up. Okay, so now we're actually almost done. We have about 2 rows left. So now we're going to be decreasing every other stitch until it's closed. And I'll show you how to do a decrease because I haven't showed you at this point. I'm just picking up bands really quickly. Okay, so how will we do, so this is one stitch, so the next one would be a decrease. So, and how you decrease is you grab the front part of the first loop and the back part of the next loop, and then you make a stitch on this. And that's a decrease. Then we'll do one stitch just normal. And then the next one would be a decrease, so we grab the front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop. Then we do one stitch normal. The front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop. And then one stitch normal. And then once again, we grab the front part of the, oops, pulled my hook out, that's what happened. And once again, we'll grab the front part of the first loop, back part of the next loop. Make a stitch, and then once you get to the C-clip, you'll just make a stitch and this, and move it up, because now we are going to stuff it. And we're actually almost done. We have 1 row left. He's looking good so far. So I'm just gonna get my stuffing really quick and stuff him. I always tear up the cotton balls because I don't want to just like stick a whole cotton ball in him. I should have probably stuffed it last row, because I don't know if there's like a red fuzzy in that. I don't know if you saw that. Because it would have been a little wider. I always forget to stuff them until it's like really tight. Sometimes tighter than this. It's a mistake I constantly make. There we go. I think he needs a little more stuffing. I really like to stuff these narwhals so they look like really round. Not overstuffed, but like pretty full. There we go. Like that. And now we are going to do the last row, and we can actually take the C-clip out at this point. I always just leave it in just to hold it while I stuff it. But we are going to be decreasing every single stitch until it's closed, and that's kind of why I showed you, or tried to really show you how it was decreasing last row, because I kind of can't show you. Oh, one of the loops came undone. If your loop comes undone, all you do is just loop it over, and it's fine. But it's really hard to show me decreasing this row because it's so tight, but we're just going to decrease every single stitch until it's closed. So, just grabbing the front part of the first loop and back part of the next loop, and doing this until we can't no more. And I'm going to do one more, and then I think that's it. And how I close it off is I'll pick up the decrease, like I'm going to decrease, but instead of pulling it through just the decrease, I pull it through everything on my hook, and then put the back one over the front one, and then pull it tight. And then we just hide the tail. So I usually just go up in my narwhal somewhere, and then I'll pick a spot, grab the tail, and then just pull it in. Because it's such a small design, this band sometimes sticks out, so you have to kind of pull it back in. But that is pretty much it. I don't know why that one band looks weird. I don't know why there's a loop right here. But if anything happens, you can always just tug it in, and I'm just going to go off camera to tug it in because I don't like how that looks. Yeah. I'm just squishing him a bit off camera. I should be squishing him on camera, but that is pretty much it. Well, we need the horn and the eyes. So I'm going to do the eyes first because I usually like to do the eyes first. Well, there's no exact spot I put the eyes. I'll usually put them right before where the fins are, so here's where the fin would be. I'm going to put the eye right here. Just tie it in. And then hide the tail. All you do to hide the tails, I don't know, I think I had someone ask once, is you just pull the band inside the narwhal and it hides it. There's like a weird sunspot right there. And then I'll go right here and put the other eye. Pull it tight. And then just hide the tail in. Literally, once you finish the body, this comes together really quickly. This narwhal looks a little different, in case you're wondering. Like, it's not, I did something wrong, because I know that this guy, and you're looking at this guy, and you're like, these eyes are bigger, these eyes are smaller. That's what the difference is. I accidentally bought the wrong size eyes. Well, no, I bought the right eyes, but I think the place I buy them from got rid of one of the sizes of eyes in the pack. So, nothing I can do about it. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is we need to add the horn. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a band. We're going to wrap it 4 times around our hook. Like that. And then we're going to get another band. Double it. Pull this onto that. Like that. And then we're going to add 2 more doubled bands onto this. So 1. And then 2. Then we are going to get one of our narwhal color bands, pull it through this, then go somewhere. I usually try to go middle of the head. I'm going to go right here. And then just tie it in. And that is it. After I hide this tail. So I hope your narwhal looks good. I'm just trying to finish fixing mine. There's some minor things I don't like, but yeah. I don't know why this sticks out here. I don't think I did it wrong because that's how you're supposed to do it. It's sticking out weird. No, I don't know. It's just that one loop's being weird, but I'm gonna ignore it because I know I did it correctly. But yeah, I hope your narwhal turned out okay. This guy looks really fat, and I feel like it's because his eyes are smaller. But yeah. I hope your narwhal turned out good. If you make a narwhal, definitely share it with me on Instagram. I love seeing people make my things. Subscribe if you want to see more tutorials from me. I have new designs coming out. This was probably the last of the tutorials I'm updating, unless you have a request for another tutorial you want to see me update, because I know I didn't explain that well, and I've kind of gotten a little better. But yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna go, and yeah, bye.